congratulations on the new album. I've been able to sit down and take a listen to it, and I absolutely love it, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about what was the inspiration that you guys felt this time around with this album? Like, what was the inspiration and what were you trying to achieve this time?
Well, I guess with this one, we're just trying to push our boundaries out. We're trying to get them louder. We're trying to get softer. We're just trying to see like how many different directions we could take this thing in, because it's pretty. It's a pretty simple formula. Like there's, you got drum, sax, and then loops, and so we wanted to get louder, faster, slower, try all the avenues basically. So we went up for that.
Awesome. So, what kind of things actually inspire you to write music? Like, are you going along and all of a sudden something comes into your head and you convert it into music, or how do you actually go about that songwriting process?
I think a lot of it's kind of like aesthetic or like vibe based. Like if we get a cool loop going that gives you like a certain feeling, then it's worth pursuing. Like we'll make loops, and it's like you can hear a song pretty quickly. It's going to form itself around it. You can envision the whole thing. So if that happens quickly, then usually it's a good loop, and we should try pursuing that. But there's just so many different things. Like I love old movies, like old film. Just like the fuckedness of humankind, all that kind of stuff that inspires us,
Yeah. Now I've got to ask, because I'm a huge movie lover, what kind of movies inspire you, and what happens when you're watching a movie that inspires you? Like, do you have to stop it and go away and put the loop down straight away, or how does that work?
I don't know. I feel like I've been watching a lot of old films on this. There's like a streaming service that I use that shows a lot of like old, not necessarily financially successful films, but more so like independent films and just important films, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never like stop a film and then have a spark of inspiration. I feel like it's a cumulative effect. Like I get a vibe going over time, and then that's kind of influencing a lot of our art. And we're always, whenever we make video clips, I'm always trying to make them feel like old film and just have a very specific aesthetic to it, I guess.
Yep, definitely, yeah. I was going to mention the video clips later on, but because you've mentioned it now, I'll talk about them. The video clips look absolutely amazing. What kind of work goes into for you guys to do a video clips like this? Like, do you bring in friends who are filmmakers, or are you completely hands-on with what you do with the video clips?
We're usually pretty hands-on, because we've got some really great, talented friends who do video work, and then they work professionally, but there's only so many favors you can ask from friends like that. And also, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but like people that make films and video clips and stuff kind of have an already like pretty preset idea about them.
Yep.
Like a lot of video clips kind of feel like a video clip, and I don't think we wanted that. We wanted something that feels more, I don't know, feel like more like a piece of art, I guess. And we love doing things ourselves for sure. So we're pretty hands-on. So we just, if you could think of a good idea that's not going to cost any money, that's pretty simple and like easy to execute, then that's the idea. Because we're pretty DIY. We don't have budget. We don't have a huge budget for like video clips. So if we can film it, then that's the right idea.
Yeah. And you mentioned before that you really wanted to push yourselves with this album. Did you feel any pressure going into this album because the last album was so well received? Like, did you feel that pressure that you had to go over and beyond what you did last time?
I don't think so. This is the thing with this band, is that we've created it so that that can't happen. Like, it's just like a really self-serving, self-indulgent project. So whatever happens with this, we kind of just we don't really care. Like, it's nice to get good feedback. That's great. We love that people are into it and that people follow us. But if there's like negativity or people don't like what we're doing, kind of don't give a fuck. So
Yeah.
because it's just like, it's funny. Like, this band is funny to me. It's so ridiculous. It's like, it has a sense of humor.
Yep.
So if someone doesn't like anything, you can always be like, well, that was sarcastic.
Yeah. So without trying to go over and beyond though, there's still an evolution there. Like when you listen to the first album and you listen to the second album, there's an evolution there that's fairly obvious. Are you guys aware of that evolution that's happening, or is it just kind of happened naturally, or have you forced it in any way?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely aware of it. We're trying to make the record feel different to the last one, and yeah, you want it to feel like it's moved somewhere else. So, and I think we did that. The last one was pretty hectic and it's kind of a little wild, a little unhinged, I think. And this one, there's definitely a few tracks on there that are a lot groovier and they're easier to kind of handle on the ears. And yeah, there's like some of the heaviest stuff we've ever done, and there's some of the softer stuff. So I think we've hit it pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's kind of like, there's parameters like maximum and minimum that you can go with on this stuff, but there's so many in between. There's so many niches in between that we can try and squeeze into that I think is exciting about this project. So there's always a little vibe a path that you can go down that will totally refresh the whole idea.
Yeah. You've also been well praised for your live shows as well, and you've played at some absolutely great festivals around Australia. Do you become more aware when you're working on music now that you're writing music that is going to sound great live? Like, is that something that's kind of changed for you guys now that you have received that feedback that you put on such an amazing live show?
I think the whole project has always kind of been more of a live thing. Like, it's not music that that I wouldn't like go home and listen to after a day of work or something. Like, it's pretty fucked up. So if that's what you do, then there's something wrong with your
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of a live thing. You can feel when people are into it when you're in it live. So that kind of helps. We can jam on ideas and road test them, and if it feels good, then we'll take it into the studio, or vice versa. There's a bunch of stuff on this new record we haven't played yet that we haven't played live, but we recorded it. Like, we played it 3 or 4 times, and then it got on the record, and we haven't played it since. So we're still excited to actually play these live and see how. I don't know, the song gets so much more amplified, like emotionally as well, when you're playing it live, so we haven't had that chance to try them on the road yet, which is exciting.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask that, with such an emphasis on your live show and with music that works so well live, does it feel weird bringing an album out while we're in lockdown? Like, did you guys ever think about pushing the release back, or were you cemented on this date?
Yeah, I mean, we've pushed our tour back, but I don't see much point in pushing release date back. Like, people will listen to it if they want to hear it, so we might as well. Like, I don't know why we'd push that back, but
yeah,
I mean, it's such a weird thing. Like, we've done a few live shows on Instagram, and it's okay. Like, it's kind of fun, but it's just weird because you're just by yourself. Like, you're playing, you finish playing and it's dead silent. So it's like, okay, I don't know if anyone's into this or not, but we'll just keep trying. Yeah.
I've spoken to a couple of musos who have said the same thing, that they've done a few live shows. Like, one was a guitarist, and he said, like, there just wasn't that feedback from the audience at all. Like, he said there was comments coming up on the screen, but of course you can't really see that while you're actually playing. So he said he did one and just decided, that's it, I'm not going to do any more shows for the entire lockdown. Is that how it felt for you guys? Like, you didn't have that feedback coming through with the audience going off or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to feed yourself. You have to get your own energy. But that's something that we've always kind of focused on in this band. It's, when we started, there wasn't really a reaction. There'd be small DIY kind of rooms, and you can't rely on a crowd to get your energy levels up. So you always have to do it yourself. So it's harder for sure, because there's nothing, like, there's not even like someone to heckle or just anything to distract you or to, like, get some kind of feedback going. But yeah, it's definitely weird, but you can do it. You just have to look within, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. How have you gone from a creative point of view while you're in lockdown? Because I've found that talking to musos, some have been really creative and have been laying down track after track, and others have just said that there's no creativity there at the moment. They just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix. How has that creativity been for you in lockdown?
I don't know. In lockdown for me, it's kind of been not that different to what my usual life is like.
Yeah.
I'm pretty inside doing music stuff. For me, it's more like I've used the lockdown to procrastinate more. So it's a good excuse not to get work done.
Yep.
And I should be getting it done, but I'm just like, I'll just go and do this for a while. But like, there's nothing stopping me from working. It's just my own mental blocks.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I feel like there has been like a boost in creativity, but it feels like a lot of it is needless, or it's just kind of like thrown together creativity that's not really needed.
Yep. Yep. So, what's your plans for when we're out of lockdown? Are you going to get out there and tour? I know that you've got the tour coming up. Is that all that you're focused on at the moment, or are you looking to do some festivals as well? Because things are starting to look a little bit brighter from the news here this morning in Victoria. It looks like we might be having some of our live music venues opening back up in August. So, is that something that you guys are starting to look to now? Plans for the future as well?
I guess so, yeah. It's so far away, but we've got that tour in November, which I'm so excited to play. I think we need to rehearse or something. We don't usually like practice because it's just pretty jammy stuff, so it's going to be rusty. I don't know. It's going to be fun though. I'm really excited, and I feel like there's some other stuff that we had booked in that might get pushed around. We're just still waiting to hear back, but I just want to play. I just want to play some more shows, and then next year, like we were looking at going international this year.
Yep.
So hopefully next year we'll just push into that, lean into it.
Definitely. Well, I guess to finish off, is there anything you would like to say to our listeners and our readers out there before they take a listen to the brand new album?
I guess I just want to apologise, and hopefully there's something in there for everybody.
Definitely. Well, mate, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. We wish you all the best of luck with the release of the album, and if there's anything else that we can do to help you guys out during the lockdown period, just let us know.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for talking.
No problem, mate. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
You